is just another manifestation of Nazism. Because the terrorism we are facing today is not really terrorism, it is imperialism.
Hello and welcome to AfriPlus channel, your #1 destination for well-researched and insightful analysis on African affairs and global developments. Today, we are diving deep into the much-talked-about visit of Burkina Faso's revolutionary leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, to Russia, the visit that sparked celebration, geopolitical conversations, and a sense of renewed African-Russian solidarity. Before we get started, kindly do us a favor, like this video, subscribe to AfriPlus channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our deep dive reports and powerful updates from across Africa and the world. Disclaimer: AfriPlus channel does not support or promote violence of any kind. Our mission is to inform, educate, and inspire through objective reporting and thoughtful analysis. Now, let's begin. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's recent arrival in Moscow marked a significant moment not only for Burkina Faso but for all of Africa. Touching down in the Russian capital, Traoré was met with both formal protocol and palpable excitement from the Burkinabe diaspora and African sympathizers in Russia. Dressed in his iconic military attire and accompanied by key members of his transitional government, Traoré stepped off the plane into a city known for its political symbolism and historical weight.
This is the beautiful moment Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso arrived in Moscow. You can see him coming down from the jet with his elite security. Yes, Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso is welcomed in Russia. Look at how the Russian officials are standing up welcoming Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso. This period is not just beautiful, but is considered historic in the African movement and the quest for sovereign Africa. You can see in this footage that everybody here is happy receiving Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Some are even saluting him. He's welcomed in Russia because he's here to build a stronger and a greater relationship with the Russian government. This is the beautiful footage that will make your day today. Watch how the media is covering everything. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is not just the Burkina Faso's president, but he is considered as president of the new Africa. In this footage, you will see how he is loved and highly respected. What you cannot see some of the politicians receive or highly appreciated like this.
From the very first step, it was clear this was not just a state visit, it was a statement. The Russian state rolled out a warm and respectful welcome. Although not a conventional head of state in the traditional sense, Traoré received high-level diplomatic treatment, a clear indication of Russia's strategic interest in the Sahel region. Meetings were quickly arranged with senior Russian officials.
Mr. President, friends, we are very glad to see you. And first of all, I would like to thank you once again for making this decision to participate in the commemorative events to honor the 80th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War. I remember our constructive and useful conversation back in 2023 when you visited our country for the first time to participate in the Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg. This time, your visit to Russia to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the victory is a great symbol, and it reflects the friendly character of relations between Burkina Faso and Russia. And I would like to mention your contribution, your country's contribution to defeating German Nazism and its allies. Some 30,000 Burkinabe fought with the anti-Hitler coalition forces under the guidance, under the leadership of legendary Frenchman Charles de Gaulle. And now we are united by our joint goal to fight against terrorism and extremism, and we will continue to support the Republic and restoring constitutional and lawful order, to fight against unlawful factions that are still operating in some parts of Burkina Faso. In recent years, we have accomplished great progress in mutually beneficial cooperation in various fields. In the end of 2023, after more than 30 years of hiatus, the embassy of Russia in Ouagadougou was turned operational again. And the economic cooperation is also important, even if trade is modest. It's growing, which is a good trend, and we need to preserve it. And we will continue to work together on further strengthening our economic ties and diversify further our trade cooperations. And it was useful to hold economic days of Burkina Faso in Russia that were held in 2024. And it was attended by the high-level Burkinabe delegation led by the Deputy Prime Minister, and we are working now on establishing intergovernmental commission. We have already established a working group to look into that matter, and we will continue to support your country in training personnel in 2024 and in 2025. The quota of Russian state scholarship for Burkinabe nationals was more than doubled, and this year we are ready to receive 27 more students from your country at the state's expense, and in total, more than 3,500 Burkinabe received higher education in Russia. Cultural and humanitarian ties also play an important part, and it is assisted by the Russian house that is operating in Ouagadougou since 2024. In particular, they are teaching Russian language there. There is a great potential in cooperation in the field of healthcare and sanitary regulations. Recently, on April 24-25, Madam Popova visited Ouagadougou and discussed the development of scientific and research infrastructure and training of personnel. We also prioritize humanitarian support for Burkina Faso. Last year, we allocated 25,000 tons of wheat free of charge, and this month we are going to send a large supply of other food products to Ouagadougou. We appreciate the support from Burkina Faso and many international platforms, including the UN and other multilateral platforms. A useful format of cooperation is the consultations between Russia and Sahel States Confederation. April this year, such a session was held in Moscow with foreign ministers. There are good prospects in many areas, and we will have a chance to discuss some of them today. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Mr. President. I hope I pronounced my felicitation properly. For me, it was an honor to be part of these commemorative events devoted to the great victory anniversary, and I would like to thank you for inviting us. It was a great honor for us. And I need to say that During this visit, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about culture, about history that laid the foundation of the resistance of the Russian people, of its struggle. I learned of sacrifices your people made, and due to these sacrifices, we are free now. And I would like to thank you once again for this invitation, and this meeting allows us to think about what's happening in the world today and to think about the prospects as well. The obstacles that we can see today must not stop us. These obstacles, in some way, they are even an advantage, because despite all the sanctions that were imposed on the Russian Federation by many states, Russia is still holding the leading position internationally, and we understand this. We understand how difficult it is. And I watched the parade, I watched the soldiers marching in front of us during the parade. I saw the equipment, including the tanks that from the times of World War II, and I saw the modern equipment, and we would like to see the cooperation between our countries developing rapidly, developing swiftly, and acquire new shapes and forms. We thank you for your attitude towards Burkina Faso. Today I visited Mendeleev Institute, and we understand that apart from defense and security, there is another essential field, which is science and education, and we would like to see Russia assisting us in training and educating our youth to help us to develop our own industries, our own enterprises, machinery, other types of manufacturing, because it's very important for Africa. We believe that terrorism that we can see today is a legacy of imperialism, and that's something that we fight against. If we put an end to this war, if we have a strong army, then we can develop our motherland. This is why we continue to fight. That is why we have this struggle. That's why it's important to train personnel, to educate people. In Africa, Africa needs a lot when it comes to equipment, when it comes to technology and machinery, and there are a lot of expectations in this regard. And that's why we still need to do a lot, we need to work a lot, and we would like to request an assistant, and the most important thing you can help with is this exchanges, transfers of technology, exchange of experience. We need to understand how we can use the experience and the know-how that Russian universities have, and how we can spread it to Burkina Faso, how we can open branches of the Russian universities and Burkina Faso to be more efficient in the way we educate our people, our citizens. This is the essential task that we are faced with. We would like to see Burkina Faso developing, and we would like to see students coming to us to learn various sciences. We can see great young people in the Russian Federation. Among them, there are a lot of researchers, young scientists, and we would like to learn from you. And another important area is military. We have a lot of projects in the field of defense.
Local media in Russia broadcast his arrival prominently, and African communities organized a cultural reception that included Burkinabe music, dance, and traditional attire. The message was loud and clear: Traoré is not just a leader, he is a symbol of a new African identity rising on the global stage. Official statements from both governments highlighted that the visit focused on strengthening bilateral relations in areas such as security, mining, agriculture, and education.
Is just another manifestation of Nazism, because the terrorism we are facing today is not really terrorism, it is imperialism. It is our land that interests those who are fighting against us. And so, ending this war, having a strong army, and launching the development of our homeland, this is the very essence of our struggle. And we are counting on you, especially to train our personnel. Because cooperation, as is often said, when we're in Africa, we tend to make a lot of requests. We know that you are engaged in a special military operation. We understand all the challenges involved and the uncertainty that tomorrow holds for the entire world. We can understand that. So perhaps we won't be here asking for a lot of things or requesting help or anything like that. But the assistance you can provide us above all is this transfer of knowledge that we seek. And so we hope to have more scholarships and to explore ways in which we ourselves can offer scholarships to our students to study here.
With Burkina Faso facing terrorist threats and a withdrawal from French influence, Russia is seen as a possible alternative partner. Traoré's team reportedly discussed logistical and technological support, arms deals, and vocational training for Burkinabe youth. In return, Russia signaled willingness to increase investment in Burkina Faso's gold and energy sectors, a mutually beneficial partnership in the making. But beyond the contracts and diplomacy, the visit carried deep symbolism. It was an echo of the Cold War era, when African nations sought non-Western alliances to assert independence. Traoré, young and ideologically charged, represents a break from neo-colonial alignments. From the photo shoot in Moscow's Red Square to the strong body language during official handshakes, everything about the visit was choreographed to signal unity, strength, and independence. In Mali, Niger, and Guinea, countries also undergoing transitions, citizens expressed hope that this kind of diplomacy would spread across the Sahel region. Interestingly, Russian media portrayed Traoré positively, as a courageous leader from Africa challenging Western hegemony. Commentators on state-run TV likened him to past African revolutionaries such as Thomas Sankara and Patrice Lumumba. Among the Russian public, especially Afro-Russian communities and international students, there was excitement. Many gathered to welcome Traoré, waving Burkinabe flags and chanting Pan-African slogans. Some standout moments from the visit include Traoré's symbolic visit to a historical Soviet monument honoring anti-imperialist resistance. His powerful speech at a bilateral forum, where he emphasized Africa's right to choose its partners freely. A publicized signing of memorandums covering energy collaboration and educational exchange programs. Each moment was broadcast widely and dissected on social media and by analysts. International analysts have mixed reactions. Some praise the bold pivot as necessary in a multipolar world, while others warn of possible overdependence on another global power. One political analyst in South Africa noted, "What we are witnessing is not just diplomacy, it's the redefinition of African sovereignty in real time." Western media, by contrast, framed the visit as too controversial, citing concerns over Russian military involvement in Africa. Nonetheless, the African narrative is firmly one of empowerment and choice. Traoré's visit is part of a broader geopolitical shift where African nations are increasingly looking east, to Russia, China, and others, in pursuit of partnerships that respect their autonomy. With rising disenchantment toward Western policies, especially in the Sahel, these visits reflect a continent in transition.
Дамы и господа, его превосходительство, президент Буркина Фасо Ибрагим Traoré.
Africa is no longer just a recipient of foreign policy, it is becoming an actor, making its own choices. Here's what some of our AfriPlus viewers had to say. Fatumata from Bamako. Finally, someone is standing up. Traoré is not perfect, but he is showing us a different future. Jean-Paul from Dakar. Russia may have its issues, but at least they aren't colonizers. Let's diversify our partnerships. Chinedu from Lagos. We need more African leaders to act like Traoré, with backbone and vision. Keep sending us your thoughts in the comment section. Your voice matters. To sum it up, Captain Ibrahim Traoré's visit to Russia was more than just a diplomatic stopover, it was a symbolic moment, full of meaning for a continent that is rising, resisting, and reimagining its role on the global stage. As always, we will continue to bring you updates, deep analysis, and fresh perspectives right here on AfriPlus channel. Once again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to spread the message far and wide. Let's build an informed, united African audience, one story at a time. Until next time, stay proud, stay conscious, and stay connected.